The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Race fans, and welcome back to LSRTV here and the Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series round number 7 at Daytona 07. Yeah, that just fits perfectly, doesn't it? Well, good evening. Rachel joining alongside Gary tonight. Gary Weaver joining us up here in the booth, and well, we go around for you guys tonight. It's been interesting results recently. We'll look at our points actually right now. Of course, Glenn Hedrick last time out, round number 6, he won. And wow, that's put him in a position to now be locked in. If you look through our points leaders at the moment, Rodney Wofford, Mark Augusta Jr., Michael Cozy Jr., Frank Basilia III, Gary Champion, and Glenn Hedrick. That is 6 races and 6 different winners. Will we see another one tonight? Those guys not quite locked in yet, but in good positions. Andrew Berger, Scott Warren, Spencer Preet, Corey Henry, Rod Flagg, Robbie Lyons. So it's interesting. P13, Harry Tiller on the outside looking in, Justin Levine, Corey M. Smith. Oh, this is very different to last season, Gary, but well, qualifying has just come to an end here, and well, we're about ready to get ourselves on the grid.
It's going to be interesting. We have tonight, well, actually, looks like we're doing qualifying right now, but
yeah, we are. I got that one backwards.
Yeah,
that's fast.
Still just the beginning of the night, but nonetheless, I counted earlier and we had about 28 people is what I counted, but right now it's looking to be about, I'm just going to take a rough estimate and go for 30 it looks like, so pretty much a full field. And well, I've never seen the Gen 6 cars at Daytona 07, so with these essentially new cars on an old surface, it's going to be interesting to see how the draft plays out here.
Certainly is, and we'll see those times as they come on in and get ourselves some results for tonight's event. Good number of drivers entered for this one, as we have, I believe, in a reach of about, looking at about 30 plus, so we'll find that out in just a moment's time, exactly what numbers we do have. But actually, do I have it here? No, I don't, because they're not actually all in order. We should have made things far too simple, but I digress. Of course, this series is brought to you by Sunwest Construction. They are our title sponsor this season. They were founded in 1986 and has grown into the premier construction development company on the west coast of Florida. And over the past 30 years, they've built and developed more than 17,000 condominium units, and now specialize in mid-high-rise developments, as well as commercial buildings and hotels, alongside Marriott and Hampton Inns. Wow, Gary, it's going to be an exciting one. 32 drivers we have confirmed for the race tonight, and as they head out for qualifying, we'll see our first times coming on in just a few seconds time. The drivers should be coming on to that point now of completion, where I think they're actually coming on to their hot laps, so we'll have that in under a minute's time. We've got our first one in, Justin Levine there, 49.3. Mark Augusta Jr. immediately goes faster, 49.322. Brandon Chrismon's device in there as well. Joseph Gorringe. Levine looking pretty sturdy up there with a 3.56, but a lot of times coming in here and they're all slower. Good times.
Yeah, amazing times, basically all just within a tenth of each other. So of course, I'm looking through right now, most of these drivers seem to appear between at least 3rd to about 10th is where they're placing their lap times after their run. So we're taking a look at Spencer Preet right now, who still has yet to put in his qualifying time, but he's just about to this time around. So as he heads into turns 3 and 4, more drivers come in, 14 on the timing charts as of right now. You can see Preet just right on that yellow line. He's going to move a little bit out to the middle of the track actually, so a little bit of his own strategy going to be used here as he's going to come across the line below the yellow line actually, trying to extend his time, and he gets to a position of 14th.
Certainly is, of course, and Well, we have some track facts for you, of course, here at Daytona. This isn't the regular modern one, though. This is Daytona circa 2007, the old one. Banking 31 degrees in the turns with 18 degrees in the tri-oval, 3 degrees in the back. This track actually opened in 1959. And, wow, it's been changed then. 64, 66, 74, 85, 83, 85, 2002, 2006... And this one, of course, is the 2007 era version. So this is probably the oldest one we have, probably pulled from iRacing's NASCAR 03. But it's got its own unique challenges, has it not? Of course, thank you to Stream King for those fantastic extra facts there we have. But this track is so bumpy. The middle groove is our fastest, most stable line here. We tend to see the top line actually be more of a thing here, Gary.
You know, the top line is, well, pretty much this entire track all around is bumpy in its own right, and of course, trying to run the high line, as you can see Travis Brown's on board, as he's going to put in his lap time. He has less than a minute, 40 seconds remain for him. He should be in just in time, but nonetheless, running the high line with this kind of a surface, I have tried it before in the old Silverados that we have on iRacing, and that didn't go too well. I ended up hitting the outside wall, so unless these guys go 3 wide and they can really keep it under control, we won't really be seeing anybody running the high line today. So the inside line is definitely the preferred line, just like in 2007.
Well, it technically is, but when I say the high line, I mean the middle line. The groove just about a car's width up from the bottom is smoother than running on the bottom, so especially in this series, we tend to see a line actually forming up there more stably than, shall we say, than the low side, but it will be interesting to see how that one goes forwards. But waiting for these final times to come on in, and we have most of our times in. Mark Jorgensen Jr. will hold that top spot. Michael Cozy Jr., Rodney Warford, Rod Flagg, Josh Hanna. We'll come to those once we get our final gridding positions. In fact, we have them. We'll run through that now. So, to your starting grid. Mark Jorgensen Jr. shares the front row and pole position with Michael Cozy Jr. on the outside. Rodney Warford and Rod Flagg with Josh Hanna in 5th.
Starting 6th is going to be the number 12, Corey Hendry. Justin Levine going to be starting 7th. 8th, Joseph Orange. Alexander Russell and Scott Warren round out your top 10.
Guy who's locked into the points is Andrew Berger in 11th place to Austin Coop. Travis Brown, Joseph Youngkins and Victor Bartlett in 15th place.
16th, we see the number 80 of PJ O'Leary. 17th is going to be Ricky Wall to his outside. There's going to be Richard Reagan Jr. in the 18th position. Glenn Hedrick starts in 19th. 20th is going to be Frank Lucilia the 3rd.
One of our winners this season, as well as Frank, is Gary Champion. He's in 21st place with Jason Altman, Spencer Preet, Brandon Cruz Monsivice, and Chris Patton.
TJ Buck starts in the 26th position. Paul Simpson Payne starts in 27th. Corey Smith, 28th. 29th is going to be Andrew Schmier. 30th, one of the drivers to not take a lap time, is going to be Jake Champion.
After Jake Champion, of course, we have Rick Mason, Dan Harrington, and Raymond Lees, and we'll find out what happens to those guys, but it's going to be a busy night tonight. We're looking here, of course, at 90 laps of racing here at Daytona. Our stage will be on lap 45, so we'll get that one in the books for us, and we'll hopefully have an exciting race here with that 2-stage format. It's been running well this season and last season, so hopefully that will continue long. But Mark Jorgensen Jr. out on pole. Can he win again? Will he have the opportunity? Of course, he only won the 500 this season. Might be wrong there. No, he did not. Go round number 2. Sorry, he won round number 2 here, not the 500. Cozy, of course, Frank Basilia, Gary Champion, Glenn Hedrick, and Rodney Warford are the winners this season. Vast majority of those guys up in your top 10, so that'll make things very lively for us, Gary.
And these guys are going to be just trying to figure out where to go as quick as possible and get those stage points as well as quick as possible. Definitely looking to at least get a win is probably going to be Andrew Berger, as he's starting, I believe, in the... Actually, he's starting outside of the top 10, just outside of it, starting in 11th in that number 24. A very familiar looking number 24 as well for me. as well, pretty much Scott Warner is going to be 7 points behind him as well. So I don't see him at the moment, but nonetheless, Andrew Berger, either hopefully for him he can get in on a win or at least in points.
Oh, absolutely, and we'll see if that does come through. But the field now heading up into turns 3 and 4, about to get this thing going for tonight and get ourselves off to green flag racing here at Daytona. Just one more corner to go. The calmest part of this race, of course, on the very uneven, bumpy banks of old Daytona. These guys will probably be at their last time they get to rest, apart from when we're under caution. Pace car will make that long left-hand dive down the pit road here, and we'll get ourselves going for tonight's racing festivities. Green, 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 we're racing at Daytona. Good start by the low side, Mark Jorgensen Jr. there, the 3 of Wofford pushing hard. Flag and the 77 of Cozy up on the high side, moving well. Corey Henry's dropped back a little bit, the 2 of Hannah on the low side, dropping back from Wofford, almost looking like old school tandem racing here actually at the front of your pack as things start to spread out a tiny little bit, and Rod Flag showing some little issues there. 3 wide with the 12 of Henry and the 91 machine there, Alexander Russell. Flag goes way back. He's bailing out of this thing hard, trying to avoid being hit by people there, as immediately we see that higher line take preference there. Jorgensen Jr. leading Wofford on that side. Josh Hanna trying to make his way on the low, being covered by Wofford. The line goes back to the bottom. These guys trying to be a little impatient on the low side early on. But as it stands, Jorgensen and Wofford commanding this race.
Yeah, those guys are doing an amazing job. As actually you saw as well, a driver on the low side, that was Brendan Cruz mountain bikes. He's dropped all the way to the back, playing it safe right now. So he's definitely taking some strategy as Wofford goes up to protect that high lane from Cozy Jr. in that 77. As everyone right now, as you can see, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a mix of modern and old Daytona, at least the tactics-wise, as well the 80 and the 3 were on the low side, while now they're on the high side, or at least in the middle lane right now. They're protecting both lanes as best as possible. You can see some drivers moving around, trying to figure out where to go. I'm seeing the 91 peek out just a little bit from behind the 2, getting some air in, so looks like we have the top 3 clear, so hopefully for that bottom lane, or at least that number 2, that's Josh Hanner on the low side, and then that 91 behind him, Alexander Russell. Hopefully for them, that line can quickly get going as they're 3 wide behind them, actually. The 01, the 42, and the 76, it looks like, but now they're back to 2 wide. That would have been a close call.
Certainly could have been, as again, the high side there just taking command early on here, as still Josh Hanna trying to push his way up on the low side with Alexander Russell there. Andrew Berger, Travis Brown, along with the 42, and Victor Bartlett. All these cars moving around so much here, the gap between them a lot wider than we'll see at other tracks, but still Jorgensen and Wofford leading up top. Another time around here at Daytona, lap number 4 in the books. And the momentum again just from a smooth track, Gary, is really proving to be vital. Guys on the low side, you can just see them oscillating around on the track. They're not quite as able to get hooked up or stay smooth, and it's costing them.
That's probably one of those other reasons why these guys can't get up to at least past that 3rd place driver, Michael Cozy, in that 77. So, of course, as you see, well, there's another reason right there. The 01 just decided to say, hey, you know what? This line is doing better, so I'm going to go up. And there goes Jorgensen down to the bottom, leaving Rodney Wofford up high. Almost a little bit of contact coming out turn 4 between the 2 and the 3. Luckily, Hannah knew that he was there, so at least just barely enough space. I'd say about a foot, maybe to 2 feet left of space before they would have made contact.
Yeah, absolutely, and the foot of space was just about enough to keep them apart, but Josh Hanna looks to be the wrench in the works of the master plan of Jorgensen and Wofford today so far. He's been the one that's constantly been niggling at your leaders here, Gary, getting himself into an attack position, and could be a threat today. Could this be a chance for Hanna to return to victory lane?
If he does manage to do that, then he'll definitely be in, I believe, as well. So if he can do this and gain some redemption, then at least he knows, and well, pretty much anyone in the Superspeedway Cup Series knows, that the 88 and the 3, those guys are a strong force as well. Speaking of strong forces, Cozy just gave the 3 a little bit of a shot. Oh my goodness, a bone draft almost went wrong for Hanner there on the low side. Got a little bit of the right rear quarter panel of the 88 of Jorgensen. That almost sent everybody around. Then Rodney Walford went high to avoid, just in case anything did happen. Luckily, everyone stays under control, and you can see the outside line starting to fall back. But now, as Cozy comes up to the bumper of the 3, he's going to give him a little bit of a shot, get that momentum back up. And he's going to stay side by side with Jorgensen and actually shoot past ahead Jorgensen, maybe even come down for the lead.
Could be an opportunity there for him, of course, as it is early goings, of course. It wouldn't really matter who is leading where, as the 3 of Watford will be clear. He will come down. No, he stays up. Oh, problems!
Oh, this is going to be big.
It's surprisingly not yet.
My goodness, well...
My God.
Yep, there we go. 53 in the 11.
Yep. Took him a while, but they managed to get it done. I thought they were somehow going to avoid it. Yep. We'll get back for a replay of this one and show you exactly what happened. As, well, Jorgensen gets turned by Hanner, and he goes up into the outside lane and slams Cozy Jr. The 2 of them hold it against the wall. And then it's cars aren't involved that have the slamming fest, and it's Austin Coop who is the pinball. Austin Coop hits the outside wall after colliding with the 11, and ricochets back down, smashes the 11, turns him round, and comes back up the track and just demolishes everybody. And that LSRTV batteriesplus.com Toyota Camry is going on the back of a hauler. Well, we made it to lap 7 before the shenanigans began.
Yeah, it was close, and unfortunately for the 38th Andrew Schmidt, here's the replay. He was 2.7 seconds back as of the start-finish line, 25th position, and somehow he just wasn't able to avoid it. We're going to see what happens here. Avoids the first wreck, and oh goodness, yep, that's what happened. Keeps under control, and yep, and more contact as well. So that just started beforehand. I thought I got into it heading into turn 1, but well, 7 laps in. That's I believe actually that's even more ironic. Round 7, Daytona 07, lap 7. Do we have a car number 7 in this race? I'm going to double check just to make sure. No, we don't. Man.
Don't, but that was certainly one of the more long crashes we've seen so far in this one. But it's, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that, actually.
Well, we're going to see if anyone is coming into pit road. Rodney Walford says yes, and here comes everybody else.
Well, it's about the right time. We're coming up on just about a third of a run so far, so coming onto pit road would be a sensible move. When the pace car goes around, everyone comes in for their service here. Up on the jacks, 2 full cans of Sunoco race fuel, 4 fresh tyres quite possibly, or it could just be 2. I'm looking at what people are doing. I've seen left maybe, but that was about it.
Looks like just stop. It looks like just a splash and go. I'm seeing all these pit stop times on JRT show about 6 to 5 seconds. Some having 10 seconds, maybe taking that extra bit of fuel. And I see Corey Smith with actually he's still in pit road. I believe he was involved in that wreck as his time is still increasing. But I do see TJ Buck with 10.3 seconds. He's out pit road, so he most likely also took just that extra splash of fuel. I see Richard Reagan Jr. with 17.8 seconds. So some of these guys may have taken those extra 10 to 5 seconds with that just to see what they can do with those new tires if they have worn any at least.
Absolutely. The new tires won't make a huge amount of difference, of course, on the Superspeedways. They never do, but you know what? It's always worth experimenting. You never know what can happen. So a good decision by some of these guys, and we'll of course find out how this one goes forwards from this point. And our running order back once we have it organized will be Rodney Walford, Josh Hanner, it's Austin Coop currently sitting in 3rd place, but that car looks a little too total to remain up there. I think he'll be heading back down pit road here. Yes, he does. He comes straight down to pit road himself for service. Bartlett will be up there in the 43. Corey Henry the 4 machine of Justin Levine. Behind him is Andrew Berger, Travis Brown, and others. So we'll see them as they come across the line here, of course. But unusual incident. Of course, we've seen these sort of incidents happen at this before. These guys still they push when they should be pushing. They end up hooked up, and you know, pushing the tri-oval. Pushing in the corners is one thing. It's ill-advised, but it's possible with the banking holding you together. But these cars are loose enough as it is in the tri-oval that you don't push in the tri-oval, Gary.
Yeah, you could push in the tri-oval, but of course, since it's not as banked as, well, you know, these turns, but again, just still unsafe, especially with that apron just looming right there. If you're going to be on that apron and you have somebody on your back bumper, or you're pushing somebody, that's most likely not going to go well. You're going to end up loosening them, and then they'll most likely get on the apron, and then probably, hopefully for them and everybody else, spin out to the infield and not back up onto the track. But all that just in the small section of the tri-oval, that's just a bit unsafe and definitely not a risk worth taking, since we're only going to be 11 laps in once we take the green.
Yeah, certainly, and we don't want to end up any further into this thing. We will be about 11 laps when we go back to green flag here, and the cars all lined up 2 by 2 by 2, and we'll be ready for that restart. Superspeedway Cup Series brought to you by Sunwest Construction. We'll be going back to green flag racing here on lap number 11 of 90. Took us a while before we had that first incident, but it was a silly one. Well, it has involved a number of these guys. Jorgensen Jr. will be down to a backup car, as will Austin Cooper, many, many more further back in your field. Pace cars off, with the green flag flies so fast this time by. Caught sleeping, Rodney Wofford on the low side, already passed by Josh Hanna on the outside with Corey Henry, who both of whom were pushing hard there, Gary.
Yeah, they just completely jumped that start, and, well, not in the literal sense, of course, but they got that start perfect. They timed it perfect, and, well, Corey Henry and number 2, Josh Hanna, they had the run, but unfortunately they just couldn't keep it going since they didn't seem to have enough help. But now you can see the side effects of that as they get shuffled back right now to, well, not really shuffled back actually, as they're gaining an advantage. But there's only 4 cars on the high side right now, basically just your top 8 right there, as you can see. But now that top line is starting to drop back right now, starting with Alexander Russell in the 91 and Travis Brown in the 01. And luckily they do manage to keep it straight in the slipstream, and, well, there's a gap if any of them want to go down low.
Always an option to go for in these sort of races, as the front to back's gone very single file very quickly. Bartlett and the 4 Levine defending. Hanna pushing, Berger going low side. Berger leading a charge up the inside, 97 behind him. That is Jason Altman's getting involved in the Owen Tools Camry. No, Fusion, I should say. 91 goes backwards on the high side. Getting out of this one is probably a sensible move there from him. Travis Brown in the 21 of Hedrick moving up towards the front here. How is Jorgensen racing? Is he racing as hard as usual? Now he's in his backup. Well, he's just riding for now. He's deep in the pack here. P20, P19 now, Gary, but it's single file back there. No real opportunity to move. Just has to be patient.
Yeah, especially at this rate. Again, just 13 laps in, but this is another reason the constant reminders is that constant reminders of the laps is that, of course, we do have a stage break at lap 45, but nonetheless, these drivers could be pushing just a little bit too early, almost in the literal sense as well, because, well, that's what started the first wreck, as the forward Justin Levine is going to just fall in front of Josh Hanna. So as you can see, that huge charge by 24 and the 97 on the inside line, Andrew Berger and Jay Riot. That's Jay started 18 positions back from his current position, which is 4th right now. A little bit of attempted side draft from the 24, and I say 21, the 01, the 12, Corey Henry, he's going to dive up high. So everyone's just trying to figure out where to go, but it looks like at the moment that inside line is starting to come back.
So it is, of course. It might show up on our time in scoring as Jay Riot, but it's actually Jason Altman's is the actual driver's name. As up top, Rodney Wofford still leading the charge. He was up front at the start, and he's held on since the incident, of course, with Jorgensen Jr. But here comes Berger, Altmans, and Hedrick on the low side. Hannah can't decide which lane he wants to push. Who does he go with? Looks to the low side again, but just can't let go of his friends at the top.
He's very indecisive. He's trying to figure out which one to take. I'd say just take the low line while you still have the chance, and well, that chance is now gone. As Travis Brown and Corey Hendry start to fill that gap as of now, Hendry actually still has another chance if he wants to head down to the bottom side, but nonetheless, Berger and that 97 ride, they're actually out up ahead right now, so they're finally in front of Rodney Walford at the moment at the least. Can they at least break that streak of lead laps that Rodney has had as of the start of this restart, I should say, at the very least, as here they come down now turn number 4. Of course, this is not for the win, but nonetheless, the gap is going to be pretty close. Well, as I say that, Jay Rice going to push Berger out pretty much a car length ahead, so Berger finally leads his first lap of the race.
He does indeed, and Berger's going to have to hold on for now because not hungry cars running behind him. Altman's is definitely one of them. He pulls up now, will join the car there of Watford for a run towards the front. Hendrick now on Berger. Altman's Watford up top with Bartlett down low. They've got Hannah and Henry and the 4 of Levine. But is the bottom side bumpy enough for them to hook up, or is it the top side who actually have the easier run of this? They need to be slowly pulling forward with less cars.
That's probably, again, just another effect of the slipstream. Like you did mention just before the race, the middle line is well, pretty much the high line in this case. It is just a bit smoother than the low lane, but they're just starting to fall back right now, so maybe they're taking this a strategic way or they really can't get any momentum as Travis Brown moves up to the high side in the L1. That's going to leave the 24, the 21, the 2, the 12, 4, and the 89 on the high side, or sorry, the low side is the 42 I saw. He was trying to make a move in front of the 89 on the back straightaway. That didn't work out, but now Travis Brown, it's also going to be an effect of that lack of slipstream. No, never mind. Here comes the 21 to the high side. That's going to be Glenn Hedrick, as now he's going to get pushed by Travis Brown.
Yes, indeed. Can Travis Brown provide the momentum they need here? Well, doesn't look like it will be all his own way, because Berger's going to come up now and join in with the party. And now 21 of Hedrick's going to go backwards, losing that momentum as his partner drops him. And Brown, who just helped him towards the front, is now helping the next guy as the dance continues. Lap 18 here of 90. We started on 11, of course, so we're approaching the halfway point in this fuel run, and well, we're about at Shanagan Point. Will something happen now, or will we make it to a green flag point?
Well, our first lap was lap 7, so of course I believe we're at 8 laps into this run now, so I believe we can just make it to 10 laps in. So looks like everything is a-okay at the moment right now, as Rodney Walford has fallen back to the 4th car in line on that outside lane, pretty much about 7th or 8th, if you will, just depending on when the scoring is showing him, or when it updates at least. But now Glenn Hedrick, who's, well, 2 positions away from being at least the biggest mover of the race. Of course, that is no longer possible, as he is in, well, first place. He has 18 positions on his starting position. Coming to the start-finish line, it's going to be a close gap. 21's going to get it, passing a lap car. This is going to get a little bit close, and luckily they do make it. Gap at that time was exactly 0.02 of a second, so pretty much just about half a hood length.
Certainly is, of course, and well, the fight continues. No one really getting an edge up here, staying fairly even. Then again, a lot of the big guns are a bit further back in his pack, recovering from the earlier incident, and they just seem to be jostling back and forth. Oh, Altman's nearly hooked Travis Brown there. He nearly had him a little bit sideways, just jerking that rear end off the racetrack and losing him some traction. Gotta be careful when hooking up, especially on this track, Gary, with it being so bumpy. These guys have no real need to push just yet. We're approaching the halfway point in the stage, but a lot of laps left to go.
Yeah, about 80 laps to go to be sorry, not 80 laps to go. 70 laps to go. I was, oh goodness, this is just going to be a big mess of cars right here. Everyone's out of line. All right, that was close. That's the 31. The 42 had the same idea. They both decided to go low at the same time. Luckily, that's Jake Champion and Victor Bartlett. They do manage to keep it straight and going, but that was, again, just a really close moment. But like you mentioned, it's a bit too early to be bone drafting at the very least. I mean, at least to this extent, it's a bit much. Especially, you should just well, we're at Daytona 2007, so we might as well at least attempt to use the 2007 tactics of just riding back and drafting, and then once we get to about, I'd say 10 or 5 to go, we will be seeing a lot more moves and lane changes at the very least. But speaking of lane changes, the outside line has drastically changed to 3 cars on the high side, 2 of which are with their second and third place drivers on the inside at the very least.
Certainly are, and well, it's Hannah and Berger out front on the top side, but the only 2 cars that are really losing out at this point as the low side propels its way forwards just by sheer volume of numbers. The track may be bumpier, but they have an easier time with that many cars, and Henry pulled out a little early perhaps, but it draws Hannah up with him, and it draws up Berger behind him. We might have a threesome here going for something as they try to side draft there. A little optimistic coming off the corner with how bumpy this track is, but they're going to make it work regardless. And we know we have some aero changes coming up, of course, Gary, with the new build, so this could be the last race of this particular behavior. What will we see next season?
This could be interesting as well, because the tire model is going to be, I believe, updated to version 7. At least I'm not sure. I couldn't really read Dave's really lengthy post, but of course that's just for everyone that's into a lot of stats. And honestly, I've read some of it. It was really interesting to see how the tires are going to be differently handled. So at least the tires and the drafting model, it's going to be maybe just a little bit different. And the things we see now, we may never see for pretty much another time, as it looks like the 33 is down on power's engine is pretty much out of that thing. That's a 53, actually. That's Austin Coop. Not sure what happened to him, actually, but goodness gracious. Actually made some contact with Cruz. He and Cruz Monsiváis had some contact in turn 1 and 2, actually.
He does. Brandon Cruz Monsiváis with some issues there, as we see one car actually on the low side there. That was the 18 machine, PJ O'Leary. Not a great race there. He went to the low side, goes down a lap here. In fact, he's under speed, so that's unusual. Up front, a lot of movement there with Hedrick moving around to defend, but it's losing him some speed. The outside line will get a good run here, led by Corey Henry. It's Josh Hannah, Andrew Berger, trying once again to get towards the front. Will they have it this time by? No, but they have got friends who might be thinking of joining them. The low side very disorganized and moving around with how bumpy it is. Look at that, 3 cars. Here comes Bartlett, here comes Brown. They're going to help. No, Brown drops back down again. 31 decides to come up. That's Jake Champion, feeling emboldened by last time's results. This thing's certainly getting a bit more interesting. These guys know they have another pit stop to come, and we're on to about 16 laps now from when we last stopped. Maybe 4 laps of fuel left.
Yeah, we could be seeing everyone come in this time around. Well, not this time around here. Probably about 30 laps into this run. So pretty much 3 laps from now, as you can see, the 21 indecisive on where he wants to go. He's going to get split down the middle. This could end very terribly. We are 3 wide right now. The low side has absolutely no room, but somehow Justin Levine, that Ford, can somehow manage to make his way around us. The 12 for Corey Hendry. He's going to take advantage of this contact between the 89 and 21. Here we go again. 89 goes around.
Caution will fly, as we had problems there. 89 comes up and taps the rear quarter of Glenn Hedrick. We'll show you on the replay. Round they all go, and big junk in your mid-pack there, as a lot of cars catch something from that. Actually, surprisingly few, 3 or 4 cars actually got involved in that, so not as bad as it could have been, but This lets everyone reset here, and we make it to the end of this stage on fuel now, so we're not having that green flag stop, I don't think. Not this side of the halftime.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for these guys as well, as the 38 somehow manages to make his way through as I see this. But nonetheless, you can see just the 89 goes up around, I think, into the catch fence as well. 21 spinning like a top, unfortunately, for Hedrick there. 31 also involved. Actually, that's the 71, I believe. But no, Chris Patton actually made it through clean. I don't see any visible damage on his card. On board from Jake Champion as well. Just coming to the corner, contact happens up ahead, just nowhere to go, and oh, hello, goodness. But yeah, look at that.
Did just what he was trying to do to avoid it, but nowhere he could really go.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but if we can get on board from that 71, if that's possible at the least, I don't think it is, but nonetheless, he did manage to somehow make his way through just at the last second without getting any damage, so amazing avoidance by Patton as well.
Yeah, it certainly was, but just not enough time to get it done and stay out of this thing, because he just happened to be, like we mentioned, wrong place, right time, and it cost him there. But regardless, we'll get racked and stacked and ready to roll again, and we will go for a very short commercial break here. We'll be right back in just a few moments' time. Stick with us, and we're back to the green flag.
The best late model stock drivers in the country kick off 2018 racing for $10,000 at Tri-County Motor Speedway when the Cars Tour visits for the Do the Do 150. Bring a Mountain Dew product to save $3 off admission, or Do the Do 4-pack with 4 tickets, 4 dogs, and 4 Dews for only $60. Gates open at 1, racing begins at 3 on Saturday, March 10th. Advance tickets are on sale now. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit carsracingtour.com.
Welcome back to the Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series here on LSRTV. Rachel and Gary joining up here in the booth, and well, we are racked and stacked ready for the restart on 31 here. We'll go 14 laps now to our halfway stage end and caution, and we'll be ready to rock. Running order will be Jason Altman, Justin Levine, Andrew Berger, Corey Henry, Michael Coase Jr., Glenn Hedrick, Mark Joggers Jr. back up there in the 7th spot. Started on the pole. Alexander Russell, Joseph Younkins, Dan Harrington in 10th place. We'll get this thing ready to rock and run here. And back up to speed. And this is where things start to get a bit crazy, Gary.
Yep, everything's going to come down to everyone battling for stage points, and then, of course, that's probably going to be actually more interesting than the finish of the race. Of course, we don't know that yet. Hopefully well, actually, I'm not going to say it just to avoid too risking anything, but nonetheless, 14 laps to green, or sorry, 14 laps till the stage ends. Pace car's going to dive off, and the 97 will lead them to the green flag, into the restart zone. Down and away they go. Green is back out, and everyone is already on everybody's back bumper.
Yeah, it was a pretty good start there, actually. That was hooked up, but there's a bit of problems. There won't be a caution for it, but that was a big wipe. It is now. Yeah, that will go back and show you that was a problem of the restart there for the number 71. That was Chris Patton, who got loose off the start, went up into the wall, came down, clipped the 70, both of whom nailed the 2 of Hannah. He goes into the inside wall, and one of them ricochets back up the track, and we get our caution flag back out here. Green flag was out, and the yellow flag follows it. Welcome to NASCAR.
Also, I'm not sure what happened with Corey Smith. He was doing fine, and then he just snapped out to the right. Of course, everybody was already making contact prior to that and just trying to scramble and get out of the way, but welcome to Daytona, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. These things do happen, unfortunately, and when they happen, they tend to happen big. And this one did. So we're going to be waiting to get this one back going again, but for the time being, get to pace again. It's our favourite sport.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the pace car driver is really happy right now getting to lead some laps at Daytona. Unfortunately, the pace car
probably leads the most laps.
Yeah, probably. Of course, unfortunately, not an official entry into the racing competition, although I would see that. I actually want to see that now. That would be really interesting to watch, just watching the pace car race around. But anyway, I'm looking around through the standings. Okay, Jorgensen's in 6th, so as compared to the last green flag run he had, he's about almost roughly 10, 13 positions up as compared to Rodney Wofford, who's over in 14th.
Yes, and they were both up towards each other at the start. Wofford's not really had a chance to move his way forwards. Jorgensen a bit more aggressive as a driver, so you'll see him take those opportunities to move forwards, and well, he does that, but well, this has definitely put us in an interesting position now where the laps down, excuse me, yawning here at nearly 3 o'clock in the morning. This has put us in an interesting position now where we have fewer laps to the stage end, and well, fewer laps to make those moves in and take a chance at a win of the stage. So our exponential chance at more cautions has just taken a skyrocket.
Yeah, when we come back to the green, it's going to be a lot more shuffling and scrambling around for everyone trying to get to where they want to be at the very least. Of course, that was already that restart. If it wasn't an example of, well, that's not going to happen, well, there's an example of what's probably going to happen the next restart. Of course, hopefully we can make it to at least the back straightaway. Maybe, I'm hoping. Of course, these guys are definitely hoping they can make it to the stage on the green, because that's going to be the key thing for them as well.
Oh, I think they're definitely hoping for it to go back to green, but they've got to make sure they keep a little bit of patience in before that happens, because patience is always the key in this thing, and I've not had a lot of it so far.
I believe we are on our 3rd caution of the night, or 4th caution, I believe. But nonetheless, 57 laps to go, as you can see. 56 once we come to the green, and I'm pretty sure a very happy person is going to be Jay Wright, because he's led 4 laps right now, and well, the most amount of laps led by Rodney Wofford was 8, and well, that's the most overall. Closest to that was Glenn Hedrick with 7 laps led, who's currently in 7th position. Oh my goodness, again with a 7. That's just ironic again, just more ironic. Actually, Jason Altmans, I should say, has finally gotten confirmation on that. Unfortunately, it's just not a thing on the scoring list, I believe. So, nonetheless, 97 is actually not Jason Altmans.
See, I'm not sure why we've always done that, but he's always in-game listed as Jay Riot, but you know, obviously his name is Jason Altmans, so he prefers to call him by that. So series. I was about to say. I forgot how to English. A series preference. There we go.
Ah, that makes sense. Okay.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, just like we pace at a blistering fast pace of 80 miles an hour, and that kind of actually is blisteringly fast, unless you were on a 2.5-mile track. Then in that case, it's just a chance to get some popcorn.
Well, we're keeping popcorn in our minds, of course, and well, the chance of our playoffs this season is looking like it's popping, because we've had 6 races, 6 different drivers, and we have the opportunity here for the same thing to happen. Could we have 7 races, 7 different winners? Last season we went an unheard of number. It was about 11 races before we had a different winner. Could that same thing happen again?
If we do, that's just going to add on to the irony of the number 7 at this track.
It really would, wouldn't it? That'd be fantastic if we had 7 in a row.
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. But finally, the pace car is going to shut its lights off, so we can finally get back to green. So 9 laps until lap 45 when the stage ends, until we go back green, as some drivers are leaving pit road after unfortunately getting involved in that incident. One of those is Josh Hanner, actually, who was, I believe, actually in the lead at one point as well. But unfortunately for him, well, he did lead 1 lap, so there's something that he can smile about. Of course, just not in this particular situation.
Yeah, certainly not, of course. We'll make sure we keep our eyes on all of this as it happens here. And so far, Austin Coop is out, 12 laps down. I believe Joseph Gorringe may be also out. He's on pit road. Yeah, I think he's out now. The car is in for repairs. He could be sometime. Chris Patton, I believe, also out, as is Ricky Wall from that last incident. Rick Mason never took to the track. So right now we have 4 cars down and out of the race. 28 is still running here of our original batch. And right now, Altmans, Berger, Levine, Cozy, Henry, Jorgensen, Hedrick, Junkins, Russell, and Monsivice. Your top 10. No real change from the last time we read that out, because the caution happened so fast. But we'll hope they can make more than 100 meters this time.
We'll see, because they're coming out of turn 4 right now in the pace car. That Ford Mustang GT pace car, I should say, is going to make that hard left-hand turn to pit road. So we're going to see how long it takes until the next caution, because I'm timing this. So the green is out. They are down and away. Stopwatch started. Let's see if we can go for 9 laps until the stage caution, as everyone is once again all over their back bumper.
9 laps, we're counting, and we'll see how far, in fact, they can go. Well, it's further than last time. They're already into turn 1, so good work, guys. Managed to make turn 1. Heading to turn number 2 now, on the low side, taking advantage. Altmans and, of course, Levine there. Berger, Cozy, and the 88 of Jorgensen up top. That will be a potent grouping up top. We also got the 87 car there with them. That is no, the 81 machine, I should say. Joseph Junkins, Monsivice, and 82 Dan Harrington. So a strong outside line if they can get it going. Levine went to go up, was out of chances on room. Supposed to see how this one flows. There'll be 12 laps now this time across the line. 12 laps till our stage. No, not 12 laps. Sorry, 7 laps, I should say, to our stage end, so the octane level's just been cranked up several notches.
Yeah, we're going to see if hopefully these guys are actually riding the yellow line a little bit more in the corners, and that's only stressing me out a lot more because I feel like we're going to get another caution, and I don't do well under stress, but nonetheless, I don't know how these guys can somehow keep it on that yellow line, but they do have the skills to do that. But goodness, that is making me nervous. As you can see, the breakaway here, well, pretty much, well, so much for that breakaway. Well, Corey Hendry has other plans. He's not going to let that inside line have him anymore, have his help at least, as now he's getting pushed by the number 24 Berger on the high side. Can he clear? Altman's in, at least out of turn number 2. No, not yet. He may be able to do that in at least turn number 3, but you can see right now, I believe this is pretty much your top 10 right now as I'm looking, and yes, it is. So this is pretty much your top 10 as of right now. That's has a slight gap. 76 is Scott Warren and Dan Harrington in the 82 are riding right behind them in case anything happens. And Corey Hendry
Youngkin's in P10 is the last car in our first group here, so the top 10 has broken away from Warren and Harrington. So put us into 5 laps to go mark here, and well, it'll be decided amongst these 10 drivers, or will we see another yellow flag come out there as 21 of Hendrick came on the track quite a bit there towards Berger, but managed to hold on and didn't completely catch him, but plenty of time for that yet, as out front Corey Henry leads the way. Altman's trying to challenge. Levine looking for something too as they come towards Corey Henry. Oh, on the line goes Levine. That was almost a haiku. I will stop that before I do another one. Things get a little bit more dramatic now. Everyone looking for that little extra bit of speed here, Gary. Trying to find any opportunity, and it's going to be every chance they take. Because laps now matter.
Levine was practically sideways in that corner, and I was holding my breath there, hoping that he didn't spin out, because that would just taking out even more people. And well, we're at 27 now, and I don't think we can handle any more, because we need all the action that we can get, as Altman's getting around the apron just a little bit exiting turn number 2, as again, 3 cars, 4, 5, 6 on the low side, and then 4 on the high side. That may change. No, it will not. He's moving up just a little bit. I'm not sure if he's going to move up just because, or he's doing that to protect and block that high line just in case they do get any advantage. But lucky for, again, just outside top 10, Scott Warren and Dan Harrington, they've caught up to these guys. And right now, Cruz Montevice is the last car in the 10th place position, as I believe it is the top 10 that do get stage points. So Harrington and Warren and Harrington are in a great position right now.
Yeah, they absolutely are in a fantastic position with how this one plays, but things getting a little busy in that top 10 grouping as they are joined now by Warren and Harrington. Cars moving around and following each other. This is where we start to get bumpers hooking up when people are all moving around. 3 wide there as Youngkins goes to the top above the 91 car. They simplify things down back to 2 wide, and they're all side drafting pretty hard. I'm really nervous about how much they're moving here. This is real recipe for disaster stuff we're seeing, as 2 laps left in the books. On lap 43 right now, and it's looking like Altman's is in a prime position here to take this stage. That car's looking fast. Is Irwin Tools Ford Fusion on rails for tonight's race. Most have seen him up front in a race recently, but he's had some bad luck, of course, Gary, so it'll be vindication for him to get a stage win and possibly fight for that main win.
If he gets a stage win, that shows he can at least get the first half of the race. All he has to do is get to the second half as quick, or get to the end of the second half as quick as possible, which is, well, pretty much your race end. As 2 laps to go here. Actually, I believe your final lap. Yep, final lap, actually, as we are on lap 44 right now. Working lap 44, I should say. 43 complete. Hendry getting pushed by Berger, who's really all over the back bumper. Where in the heck did Jorgensen come from? Because I don't remember seeing him up here in the top 6, but nonetheless, Corey Hendry is now up ahead. Berger's going to follow, maybe doing a fake out as quick as possible. No room for Berger to come down, so it looks like Corey Hendry is going to protect that high lane. Nope, can't move down as Altman gets there. And unfortunately, he has no help, though. And, well, Corey Hendry has about 4 cars worth of help on the high side, and somehow they're all not wrecking. So, to the line, Altman's going to get 3rd, maybe 2nd. Sorry, 4th, I should say, as they crossed the line. And Corey Hendry was out front that time.
Looking like, well, of course, it'll be a point of caution, and it's Andrew Berger right now, waiting for that caution to fly, and we'll see who gets flagged as winning. They're still racing for this one. Jorgensen pushing hard, and it'll be the end of this lap, end of 45. Still plenty of opportunities left, of course, for someone to get an opportunity here. Corey Henry, hold on. Altman's looks like he hasn't got a chance, but Berger is dropping back. Altman gives everything now to Corey Henry. Can he find an opening and get through? Not looking likely. To the stripe now on lap 45.
Oh,
and it's going to be Corey Henry, I think, will easily take this one as we wait for that caution to come out. If it does, in fact.
I believe they'll come out on the back straightaway and then they'll resort everything. Let's see. Yep, there
we go. Yep, Corey Henry wins stage number 1 tonight in round number 7. Omens for a win.
So, of course, your top 10 at the time, Corey Hendry, Jason Altman, Andrew Berger, Justin Levine, and Jorgensen Jr. make out your top 5. Hendrick, Cozy Jr., Montevice, Warren, and Harrington make up 9th and 10th. Well, what do you know? Should I say 6th through 10th? But Warren and Harrington made up 2 positions each, as opposed to where they used to be. So that's actually, again, they did wait at the right time. But somehow I thought it was at the beginning of lap 45, not the end. But nonetheless, under caution, so begin the fuel strategy.
Absolutely, everyone will come, of course, for fuel here, so not a lot of strategy at this stage, but still a necessary part of this race. As we cross the halfway point of tonight's race, let's take a look at our iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the leading online racing simulation. Developed from the beginning as a centralized racing and competition service, iRacing organizes, hosts, and officiates races on virtual tracks all around the world. In the fast-paced world of esports, iRacing is a one-stop shop for online racing with officially sanctioned racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World of Outlaws, Red Bull Rallycross, and more. Leading the way right now is Corey Henry with Jason Altman, Andrew Berger, Justin Devine, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Glenn Hedrick, Michael Cozy Jr., Brandon Cruz Montevice, Scott Warren, and Dan Harrington.
11th is Alexander Russell, Joseph Youngkins, Rodney Wofford, Victor Bartlett makes up your... Actually, no, Jarvis Brown makes up your top 15, rounding out that. TJ Buck, 16th, 17th, Raymond Lees, 18th is going to be Paul Simpson-Payne. 18th is going to be Frank Basilia III. 19th is Paul Simpson-Payne. Richard Reagan Jr. makes up your top 20.
Corey Smith in 21st with PJ O'Leary, Gary Champion, Spencer Preet, Josh Hanna, Andrew Schumer, Jake Champion with Ricky Wall, Chris Patton, Joseph Gorringe, Austin Goop, and Ricky Mason. That's been a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break, and for more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. Thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross, you can now visit iRacing.com/membership and use the code PR-GRC for an opportunity to start your career in iRacing with 3 months for only $5. Yep, that's promo code PR-GRC for new members only. Well, back to this, of course, and, well, we've had this pit stop sequence there, which kind of messed with our timing and scoring a little bit, but you know what really helps with the timing and scoring, Gary? It's dual real timing. Coverage of the Superspeedway Cup Series is, of course, brought to you by Dual Real Timing, the official timing software of LSRTV. Whether you spend your time on the sim, behind the wheel, on the pit box, or from the spotter stand, JRT is the go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. Get yourself a basic download or get the pro version today at joel-real-timing.com. joel-real-timing.com. Use it, it's fantastic, and there's a free version, which we all have. It's amazing.
Yep, I'm using that right now, and of course, just like earlier, that's how I know all these I can pretty much list up anything that's on here. By anything, I mean, probably do have time. I'm going to wait and see if the pace car is going to go 1 to green here. And no, okay, I thought I was going to have to do a speed round for a second. Rod Flag staying out 1 extra lap to get that 1 lap lead. Hopefully he does at the pit road, because this car is unfortunately pretty damaged. But nonetheless, for JRT, you can see the positions gained, of course. You know, the car number and the name, of course, those are very important. The club that the driver is in, the relative timing between pretty much everybody, the gap from the leader, their last lap time, their best lap time, laps completed, their speed as of, I'm pretty much right at the moment, their top speed as well, as I'm seeing. Let's see if I can find the highest one. 199.7 from Chris Patton, who unfortunately is still in pit road and has been in pit road actually, but at least he has the top speed of 0.7 seconds, 0.7 miles per hour faster. The apex, pit lane, how many times they went to pit road, pit lane time, pit stop time, how many incidents they've been in, just, that's a long list of stuff that they have, but hey, again, it's free. Use it. It's amazing.
Certainly is amazing. It's definitely useful to have there, of course, to really enhance what you can see in these races. But as this one clocks forwards, well, we're going to be coming back to green flag racing, I believe around lap 50, 51 here, so we'll be in a one-stop position. If we can have that one-stop come about lap 70, if they can go green from here, we have one stop and they will make it to the end of this thing. So convenient timing of a caution coming out just after the halfway point, eating up those 4 or 5 laps they need to save fuel for. So plenty of options.
Yeah, many options. For me, I'd be just saving constantly right off the bat, and well, that's what I did for the Daytona 500, but that was a Daytona 500 and my first one as well. But this is different because Daytona 500 was on the modern surface in 2011, I should say, but not the Daytona 2007. Strategy similar, yes, but still just a slight difference, as it looks like Cruz Monsivais, I believe, I'm looking through JRT, and yes, he actually has the highest positions gained, 22 positions gained, as he started in 20th, so Cruz is definitely happy. But if he can just get that 1 extra position by the end of this race, then I'm pretty sure he'll be a very happy person.
Certainly will be, of course. He just wants exactly that, and he will be in a great position for this. But there's a lot more he could do with gaining. He needs a lot more than he has right now, I think, and as we're 2 wide now, ready for the restart, a lot of that on these drivers' minds. They're all looking for what they can gain. Yeah, right now it's gain 1 position, you're leading, but you have to hold it for 40 laps. We'll see if they can do it.
Well, let's hope that he can, and let's hope that everyone settles down a little bit now that the stage is over, as I'm seeing Victor Bartlett and Scott Warren. Scott Warren's actually in 3rd place now, so again, just a lot. That just shows how good his timing was right there, so we're going to find out what he can do up here, as he has not been in the top 3 pretty much all night, although he has started 7 positions back. But nonetheless, pace car makes that turn to safety of pit road. Green is out. Everyone already on everyone's back bumper right now. A little bit of a gap on the inside.
Warren wasn't going as fast as he could have done. He let off, in fact, off the back of Levine, and that's going to give Monsivais that 1 position he wanted here. Look at this, it'll be clear and able to drop straight down, although not quite going to make it. He will likely do it on the backstretch here, but he needs a good push from Bartlett to do so. Gets a good tap. Will he now have the overspeed he needs? It's looking likely. Does he drop down and leave Bartlett, or does he work with him? Will Monsivais take the chance of leading the laps over staying? No, he stays. But he has got a strong line there, of course, compared to the inside. He has Bartlett, Henry, and Jorgensen Jr. If I had to stay in the line with Jorgensen Jr., I know which I'd pick.
And speaking of Jorgensen, well, more importantly, as what I assume would be his best friend, Rodney Welford, unfortunately stuck in 16th. But of course, we saw how Jorgensen made his way back up after being in the same position that Rodney is in, and Oh goodness, as these guys get a little bit close, try and side draft as best as possible. We saw how that played out for Jorgensen, so Watford probably on the same strategy as well, as it looks like that high line is unfortunately slowly starting to fade. So right now I'm pretty sure Justin Levine is hoping that Scott Warren stays behind him and doesn't jump up to the outside, and he and the 24 both have room to jump up to the outside if they want to and make the outside line just a thing once again.
Well, they're going to have to work their way for that, but right now the outside's kind of falling apart. Just Monsivice and Bartlett. It's falling apart like Monsivice's chances for the lead in the last lap alone. 3 laps in the book now since the restart, and well, with how much is single filing out there as Bartlett drops down, Monsivice will have to. This heavy single file running is likely to give us a position where we have a very green stage. Could this be an opportunity for that green flag stop? I think it's possible.
I was looking at that 77, and hopefully it is possible, but that 77 of Cozy, oh goodness, he tried to make his way in, and thankfully he did, but that was a really close situation as Monsivice is now getting, if you will, just a fun term of freight train on the outside, a little bit of a stack up as well. That's the, there's another reason why you want to be on the outside lane, but not right now. Now it's just time to ride around and weigh it out, but Monsivice finally has an opening on the bottom. He's going to take that as well. But just another downside of being on the inside line, or at least a car that's not second or first or second on the outside lane. As you can see, the 97 peaked out for a second on the apron, getting some air into that engine, but again, just the downside is the accordion effect, because once if you're in second place and you start to push the driver in front of you, then the third place car is going to have to either push you or have to let up. So that just causes an accordion effect throughout the entire inside lane, and well, you do have to deal with it, especially at this stage.
Certainly do, but as it goes, it will stay kind of quiet here up front. Top pack, all single file. A little bit of 2 wides and 1s and 2s behind them, but in general, this field is basically entirely single file right now, which leads to a very different kind of racing. A lot of patience, in fact. You've only really got the 81, the 82 of Dan Harrington up there, 2 wide. Monsivice just about 2 wide there with Reagan Jr. Although 2 or 3 of them were hooked up there on the outside. Is this a chance for a push forwards? Well, it could be, but not against that huge pack running low. This is very different to what we normally see in terms of people running very... Oh, we have a car across the grass at the back of the field there.
I believe that's number 20. Yes, it is. Paul Simpson-Payne. I see him dropping back on JRT, and unfortunately, he does manage to keep it under control. He is well under speed, though, but thankfully, he did manage to keep a hold of it. I don't see any damage on his car, so... Yep, just it looks like a little bit of contact, and just one of those wrong moments where you just get stuck up behind somebody, but you have somebody right behind you. You see the replay right here, actually, I believe. Yes, it is. I see right in front of him the number 84 is going to jump up to the high side. Simpson's going to push him. Then Simpson's going to get pushed and then turned, unfortunately, but he does keep it straight. Great job of keeping that under control.
Does indeed. On the outside there, Berger, Cozy Jr., Bartlett and Henry, they're making a go of things at the top, and we'll see if they can push this one forwards. The sedate single file racing has ended almost as quickly as it started, and well, they're going to have a go for something now. There's 4 in the front on the low side, 4 on the high side. It's kind of equal terms. They just haven't really got the hookup yet.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's just wanting to get to the front as quick as possible. Well, I'm pretty sure Jason Altman's going to be one of those drivers as well. He has the most amount of laps left with 12 laps. But of course, that is quickly going away. It's just going to be gets now his 9th lap lead. So I believe it should be switching. Yes, it is. There it is. It's 9th lap lead. No stack up effect. 24 is going to keep it under control. Victor Bartlett made an amazing save as Cozy. You know, everyone's going to be coming up on this as a quick pace and mainly just being forced to the outside lane, but Victor made a little bit of contact, and again, like I said earlier, just that stack-up effect, and if that happens, well, there's just another repeat of what's to come, maybe, hopefully of what's not arriving soon, because goodness gracious, that was an amazing save by Bartlett and Cozy. So luckily they do keep it under control and they're still going, so hopefully we still can get to those green flag pit stops. As it looks like Jorgensen's looking for the outside, can't make up his mind. Well, now he's forced to the outside.
Certainly is. There is, well, going to be another 10 laps or so before we get to a green flag stop situation. These guys are working on trying to make that not happen, but Jorgensen and Berger on the outside, that's a good pairing. If I wanted to go to the front, I'd hop out now. If I was Jason Altman's, that group is a group I would join. They certainly have the way to travel to the front. Right now everyone's staying low. Bartlett comes up. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but he tries to come back down again. Isn't going to have the opportunity as Cozy closes the gap now, and Jorgensen may decide to bail on these guys. He does. So tactical racing here, going to take a free spot versus a hard-fought one.
I think Jorgensen knows now that everyone, oh, here's a stack up effect. You can see it, at least. Hopefully you can, but goodness gracious. But again, I'm pretty sure Jorgensen knows that, okay, so if I'm going to go up here and everyone else is going to come with me just because I'm up here, I'm going to leave them out and see how they can do on their own. So maybe Jorgensen's going to see how well they can do on their own to see if he can use them as an advantage later in this race.
It certainly would be an option to go for, but, well, they're all just trying to get through this first stage.
Oh my.
Oh, bit of a wobble up there. Nearly could be another problem there in the trial. Everyone hooks themselves back in again nicely. No problems from what that could have been. We could have had a caution there, but they collect themselves and carry on. A few of these drivers getting a little bit, well, realizing that they're maybe a little bit more mortal than they thought.
And everyone's trying to figure out, hopefully everyone can figure out that three-car tandems don't exactly work, especially when you're coming into the tri-oval, because that was at least heading into the tri-oval. You can see the 88 of Jorgensen just all over the back bumper of the 77 of Cozy there in the far right-hand side. And there goes Cozy up to the high side now. Cozy's going to join the outside lane party as Victor Bartlett is going to get his first lap led of this race, so all he has to do is keep that lead. Of course, that's not going to happen as, well, here comes 21 of Glenn Hedrick down to the inside lane. And a little bit of an update on your laps led. Well, Jay Riot has tied that number of laps led with Justin Levine, 12 laps led for both drivers. One of them just has to break it now. As looks like Bartlett's going to use the 23 of the slow car, 23 of Rod Flag. It's a little bit of a drafting advantage on the back straightaway. As they head into turn 3, just again, just another one of those small gaps that you have.
Yeah, it really is, but, well, they're going to hold on to it for now. Things get a little bit more tussly up towards the front as Bartlett makes a charge there with Berger. Cozy's behind him. He's not a bad car to have pushing, but not a lot happening yet. Not quite got the run they need to make this thing work with, so you have to hang on until they do. But the downside of that is if you don't get the run, you end up stalling out and sitting alongside. It could lead for a lot of laps just sitting there side by side waiting for something to go wrong.
A little bit of a wiggle, as you can see from the onboard of Jason Altman, and I'm honestly not sure if I said right earlier, but if I did, again, my mistake, meant to say Altman, but a little bit of a fallback as well from Jorgensen. Everyone's still continuing forward. Thankfully, Justin Levine out to the outside. He's going to get pushed by Victor Bartlett. So now, I believe they just low-key one-upped each other, because now both of them are tied for 13 laps led. So I think Justin Levine knows what's going on with Altman right now. So I'm pretty sure Levine is just trying to say, hey, guess who can lead more laps than you can? So a little bit of a low-key competition between these two, as well as Victor's trying really hard to side draft this inside lane.
Yeah, he is trying. It's not really working too well just a second, but it's worth a try. And, as you see, it certainly has a good effect, but I don't think I've really seen it gain the momentum it needs at this point. It's staying pretty quiet, but they are having a good go at it.
speaking of having a good go at it, well, almost getting 14 laps led, well, definitely getting 14 laps led was Justin Levine, but now Altman wants those 14 laps. I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern here because, oh goodness, a little bit of side contact, as you can see from the onboard of Levine, between the 21 of Hedrick and the 42 of Bartlett. But I'm pretty sure the 97 and the 4 just having an internal competition, and that's going to end as the caution comes out. And that's a huge wreck in turns 3 and 4. The 18, the 84. I believe Ronnie Walker made it through. They're still okay. Well, goodness. Gary Champion involved. You can see the 94
Corey
as
Henry.
well.
Oh, this is a classic problem of. It was a 61, 91 that gets turned there, actually. That's the machine of Alexander Russell. Turned by the 81 of Joseph Younkins, but it's because we had a third car pushing who didn't let off. He put the 81 on the bumper of the 91, but kept pushing until he turned 91. And this is something you'd think experienced Superspeedway drivers would be used to by now and know how to handle as it collects other cars as well. Frank Basilia, the 18 as well. The 84. You'd think, you know, you get up to the guy's bumper, you ease off a little bit rather than sitting there pushing, knowing he's being pushed into the car in front, and well, that results in someone pushing too hard and people spinning. Classic Superspeedway problems there, but are we going to be good to the end of this? This is a question here. This is going to be 24 laps. This just pushes us over with the caution timing, so these guys fuel later on in the fuel cycle. This might be good to the end if they can make it stretch.
Yeah, if they can save a lot too, as they're riding on board with Monsivice. Walford, also one of the other drivers to make it through. Hello, goodness. I was practically right in front of him. That would freak me out if that was right there. It just looks so unexpected, but everyone is in pit road right now, and Monsivice and both he and Monsivice, Walford and Monsivice both managed to escape clean as well, as we ride on board with Gary Champion. One of the drivers involved in that as well, unfortunately, is some of these drivers slide into their pit stalls, and unfortunately Spencer Pre overshot his pit stall a little bit. Looks like it's just a splash and go for a majority of these drivers, as here's the wreck in front of Champion and just barely makes it by Spencer Pre, and hello spinning car, and just right into the driver's side. Nowhere to go. The 84 gets a piece of that hard into the outside wall as well. But unfortunately Champion involved in this, and he has retired the car and put it behind the wall in the garage.
Yes, he has. Unfortunately for him, that will be the end of his race, as this puts him in a position where now he cannot take any further part. But kind of expected. That was one of those incidents that was just a little too something we've seen far too many times before.
Yes, unfortunately, just the smallest mistakes. Like you said, everyone should be used to it by now, especially at least I would. I've mentioned it as well. It's just one of those moments where you get a 3-car tandem going, and well, the third car doesn't know if you're hooked up to the person in front of you or not, so next thing you know, you go to move out of the way, and then maybe the person behind you follows, and then, well, next thing you know, you get bumped and possibly, unfortunately, moved into the driver that you've been pushing. So pretty unfortunate for most of these drivers to get involved in this wreck as well. Now Victor Bartlett is going to be in the lead as of right now, so he's going to get his second lap led of the evening, as well, Jay Wright has 15 laps led, so Justin Levine's in second place. That competition is still ongoing, and it's going to be entertaining to watch for that as well, but even more entertaining is going to be the race, as everyone is most likely going to be saving as much as possible under this caution, and that's what they should be doing right now as well.
Yeah, really well, of course, and well, they'll be saving now, but they'll be bidding for fuel, so they'll be able to do just that. We'll get ourselves back to green flag racing in a few laps time, and this will put us on the 20 to go mark across this caution, which livens things up. That puts us in a really cool position now to see how this one goes, because we're going to be close on fuel, which means they have to be careful. They have to cycle around as well and let each other save fuel, so this, again, they either go crazy and we end up with a caution, which means we lose a couple of drivers who are on their backup cars already, but everyone gets to pit and we're good on fuel, or they actually play it careful, and we could have a very entertaining end.
For their sake and our sake, I hope they play it carefully, but just a little bit more than usual. As looks like just a small little fun fact, we have 3 juniors within the top 10, almost the top 5. Michael Kosick Jr., Mark Jorgensen Jr., and Richard Reagan Jr. So, as I believe the pace car actually has broken the number of laps led already, so congratulations to the pace car driver who is...
he does that a lot in this series.
I'm pretty sure he's happy though. At least he gets to, I'm pretty sure he gets paid extra at least too as well.
Probably, yeah. I do recall actually I was commentating a Citroen 2CV 24-hour race a couple of years ago where the pace car literally did get most laps led. And also, a second fun fact, up in the commentary booth, we managed to goad the safety car crews into having a race. Because it's a 24-hour race, of course, they had 4 safety car crews who were on rotating shifts, right?
Oh, no.
One crew would do a 3-hour shift, and the next crew would come in, then the next crew. We goaded the teams into having a who can set the fastest lap leading the field amongst the safety cars.
Oh, no.
If you're listening, Anglesey safety crews, it was Team 3. I still remember that one. It was great. We managed to actually get the safety car teams to race each other. It was amazing.
Oh, that sounds fun. I would do that, actually. I want to be a pace car driver at my local racetrack as well, and I'm kind of in the position for that. I think it'd be fun. I've always wanted to be some kind of position in motorsport, so I'd say, hey, why not pace cars? I believe Scott Warren is saving as much as possible. Or, wait, no, actually, nope. Actually, some of the drivers decide to head to pit road a little bit earlier on, so some guys having a few issues, but hopefully they can get those sorted out as well. Nonetheless, through turns 3 and 4 at, again, the blisteringly fast and probably cruise control set pace for the pace car of 80 miles per hour through turn 4. 21 laps to go when we hit the green, so you were just 1 lap off, Rachel.
Yeah, just 1 lap off, but we should be in a good position there. At least to make it interesting.
It's definitely going to be interesting indeed, as the pace car going to dive to its safety of pit road. Down it goes, and Victor's down and away all over the back bumper. It's going to be Cozy. At least gave him a shot heading into the tri-oval. So Victor's going to have that unfortunate gap though, so maybe just a little bit of a disadvantage as well. We're going to find out if it's going to help him or harm him. Well, right now it's harming him, as everyone is just side by side, pushing each other as hard as possible. 20 laps to go once we cross the start-finish line the next time around.
Yep, certainly are, of course, as, well, green flag has waved. We're partway down the backstretch here, and, well, as it stands, Bartlett's holding well. Caution flies, though. What if we had happened, Gary?
And it looks like the 38 again involved, and the 21 of Glenn Hedrick. I don't know, I almost said Rick Hendrick there, goodness. But looks like that started up with around the 83, I believe. Yep, just a bit of a miscommunication replay coming up on your screen. Start with the 38 and the 46. You'll see the 46. That's Richard Reagan Jr. 38 being Andrew Schmear. Just bone shafting gone wrong right there, and of course that just caused about 3 cars worth of a wreck. So unfortunately, you can see. Wait, did Rodney Walker get a piece of that? Oh, yep, just a piece. All right, well, 5 cars actually. Goodness gracious, and I believe just a few more. Oh, the 88 just barely gets involved as well, as I believe he just went off screen as they're still making contact. Gonna double check that as well, but if he did manage to avoid that and just get the 80, no, he actually did manage to avoid that. So just managed to avoid that. As we're getting on board from the 94, Frank Brasilia coming through, tries to avoid it and hits the wall, and then the 38 is. You can see the rest of the wreck, and 38 just getting clobbered as well. So very unfortunate. 94 avoiding another wreck in front of him actually as well.
Yeah, patience might have been a bigger virtue in that one, as they do in fact have some issues with the wrecking once again, and these things tend to be a common trend. We get 1 or 2 silly wrecks and the rest just seem to follow. So, we'll go from where this one picks back up again, of course, and we'll go with it, but it's another caution, which will bring us to a position now of everyone making it to the end here. We'll go for a commercial break, folks. We'll come back just before the green flag, so stick with us. We'll be all here.
So obviously you guys have come from the virtual world to reality. What do you think about a sim racer coming in the real world? What were your expectations coming in?
Coming from iRacing, you know, a computer program basically down here to a real world scenario where you got all these guys with all these years and years and years and years of experience that are also using iRacing as a tool to come out and run against those guys and beat them and finish ahead of them and show them, you know, there's a thing or two you might be missing is fantastic. You know, I mean, that's a skill that I know I don't have, and I can appreciate it because whew, I'm terrible at iRacing.
Glenn was able to come into the team. We did a lot of preseason testing, actually a full season's worth of testing before we even started the season. And he came in, there was a lot of sectors that he was the fastest guy out of our team. And Sparky and I are looking at data, trying to catch up to him through some turns. And of course, you know, some places Sparky will be the fastest or I'll be the fastest, and Glenn is able to learn from, you know, what we're doing and vice versa. So it was excellent to see his pace right off of the bat, and speed was never a worry. You know, it's about qualifying well. Qualifying is very difficult, you know, and pretty important in this series. And so is, you know, being able to make effective passes without contact. It's very difficult to pass in these cars, so, you know, it's not easy being here. I think the level of ultra competitiveness in here, where when normally when you make a pass, you're making a pass with 2 cars involved. But if we're making a pass in this series, you have to remember there's 5 cars waiting behind you. If you mess up that pass, they're going by you.
Yeah, it's like sharks.
Yeah, you're surrounded by sharks. But no, it's been, I've been very surprised and very pleased with it. And obviously I have the 2 champions I'm sitting between. John actually statistically is the most successful MX-5 Cup driver in the world. He owns every record that you would want, none of the bad records.
Maybe some of them, I don't know.
Maybe some of those. And Sparky's one of the quickest guys in the paddock, and you know, obviously the champion now. So I couldn't have picked a better team to be with 6 Sideways. I'm looking at what everybody in the paddock calls gold. I mean, they will pay to look at John and Sparky's data, and I get full access to it. And I get to see where I'm doing well and see where I can improve. And I've been really pleased with my progress.
Welcome back to the Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series here on LSRTV. Under caution here, we're back 2 wide, ready for the restart here on lap number 74. We'll have 16 laps to go when we cross the line, and well, Gary, everyone's on good fuel now. Everyone's on good tyres. Our restart will be Bartlett, Levine, Cozy Jr., Andrew Berger, Scott Warren, Josh Hanna, Dan Harrington, Brandon Cruz, Survive, Spencer Preet, Alexander Russell, your top 10. We're racked, stacked, and ready to go back racing.
Finally, coming out of turn number 4 is going to be the Ford Mustang GT first iRacing base car. Get ready for the left-hand turn now. There it goes. Victor Bartlett down and away. And we are back under green once again. 9 laps led for Victor Bartlett. Of course, the most amount of laps led by Jay Wright is 15, and Justin Levine still looking to tie that. Victor Bartlett probably has other plans aside from that. Of course, all over the back bumper is going to be, well, pretty much everybody on the back bumper of everybody right now, at least metaphorically speaking. The sideline roughly consists of the 42, 77, 76, I believe, and the 82. 4, 24, 2, and 54 make up your high lane, plus pretty much everybody else. And right when I say that, there goes Cruz Monsivice down to the inside.
Yes, it is, of course. And as we go, Levine's been pushing hard so far. Levine's actually looking pretty strong for this one, as is Bartlett. The two of those have been up front for quite a lot of today's race. Berger and Cozy Jr. have also. Berger could certainly do with the points in this one. Corey Henry also looking fairly possible. Monsivice as well. Warren and Harrington also up front too. So a lot of drivers that appeared that could actually be our 7th unique winner this season. 7 of 7 at 07. Let's make that a thing.
Let's see if we can get that trending. Hopefully we can, but unfortunately for the high lane, as Cruz Monsivice is going to look to the high side, goes back down to the inside. 4 and the 24 are both stuck on the high side. That's Justin Levine and the 24 of Andrew Berger, just right behind him as well. 31 of Spencer Preet was looking to the outside, decides against it. Everyone trying to scramble and look out at least to the middle of that high side, but still, just everyone's being patient to a certain extent, as Monsivice, I believe, just low-key forced Preet out, as the 97 of Jason Holtman also kind of helped in that process as well.
Yeah, certainly, of course, and well, they're keeping at it, and they're going to do what they can here to bring ourselves to a very exciting conclusion to tonight's race. But who will be that winner? We still have no idea, and they're getting a little close up here. They're almost tempting fate once again, but we'll be on 10 to go in just about 3 laps time here at Daytona 07. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be very entertaining. Oh, Dan Harrington catches a bit of apron there, but holds on. Levine, Berger on the high side still holding on there, but everybody else has gone single file already.
Yeah, and still, well, so much for that, as Cozy's going to get forced almost into the middle. Goodness. And that's going to get forced to the high side, so that would have been devastating. Just a small move that could have been taken out. That could have taken out pretty much everybody in this field, so now Cozy is being tired of pushing Bartlett, so now he wants to be pushed to the lead, and that's going to happen thanks to that number 4, Justin Levine, and that high side is finally gaining a lot of momentum, but I don't think Cozy wants to go down just yet. He wants to take Levine with him. That's going to be, yep, and now Levine, sorry, not Levine, Cozy has almost been left out to dry, as now he's going to fall back to the number 24 of Andrew Berger on the high side there. And, well, right now, Levine has yet to tie the most amount of laps led, so of course, yes, that is still a mini competition, and I'm pretty sure Victor wants to be the one to break that as quick as possible. He was at 12 before he got shuffled out back to 2nd in line, 3rd in scoring.
Could be indeed, as we still shuffle around here. And we're trying to decide where they want to be here. On to lap 80. 10 laps to go here. 10 laps remaining. This is going to get a little bit more entertaining now as everyone tries to jostle for position. Cozy wants to be the first non-repeat winner this season. He's been getting up front quite a bit of this. Bartlett has come out now to get pushed to the front. Levine kind of left on his own there. He will have to
oh boy,
lead that low side.
Here comes
on
the
his own there as Bartlett comes through. Oh, two of
breaks
Hannah.
out loose. And
Caution
there
will
they
fly. And
keep it
look
straight.
at this.
Nope. Oh, hello.
It was a tap from the 54. Brennicus Monster Vice sends him sideways, and well, Jorgensen Jr., who was involved in an incident earlier, gets a smacking from that, and that could end his race unless he can get that repaired. But caution flies, and well, we are going to be having a very short restart. 6 laps it will be when we go back to green to run to the end of this. This is going to get intense.
This is going to be entertaining as well, but on the bright side for the number 2, at least he was there with the safety truck, hopefully is, or was, if you will, but Victor Bartlett is now 13 laps led out of 15, so that has finally been tied. Justin Levine and Jason Altman have tied each other, as you can see an onboard from the 80, and hello, nowhere to go. Unfortunate for PJ O'Leary to get involved in that, so hopefully he can still keep that going. He's currently scored in 9th, however, so that's good for him. But nonetheless, Justin Levine and Jason Altman tied for the most laps led with 15 laps, but we are under caution, which is typically 4 laps, so I believe we have used one of those 4 laps, and I'm pretty sure Victor, if he can get into, if he does decide to pit, if he can get in and out of pit road first. Looks like no takers, as everyone is, like you said just before, that caution around 20 laps to go, everyone is good, so now that 42 has 14 laps led. But he did mention with a 77 of Cozy Jr., if he wins, then he's going to be a repeat winner, but here's the thing. Round 7, Daytona 07, 7th winner, and then number 77. The irony just continues.
That would be amazing. That has to happen. 7 for 7 in a 77 at 07. But it would be but he's already won so far this season.
Oh well, it would still be great.
Let me just check that out, actually. I need to just make sure he has. If not, we found out who we're rooting for.
I don't see...
No, he has, because Junior won round number 3. So it would be 77 breaks the 7 at 07.
That works.
It's still a thing. We're still going to make this a thing regardless of what happens.
Yeah, I wonder if he can do, if he does win, I wonder if he can do a 7 in the shape of a burnout. Oh my goodness, that would be awesome.
It would be possible, I guess. Not easy, but possible.
I may have to do is just one straight line, then another straight line, so just that.
I'm still waiting for Kyle Busch to do an 18 burnout. I mean, that's far easier.
I'm waiting for someone to do a burnout in their car number if they win the championship. Ooh, that would actually be very interesting. Quick, somebody do that. That would be awesome.
That's what I mean, Kyle Busch doing an 18 burnout. Could be done.
Could be.
Anyway, we're going to get ourselves restacked here. It is Bartlett, Cozy, Levine, Berger, Warren, Harrington, Monster Vice, Jorgensen Jr., PJ O'Leary, Corey Henry, and, well, Jorgensen Jr.'s car is crinkled on the right front, but not much he can do with that. He's going to have to roll this thing and see what happens. He hasn't got really time with his few laps left to go into pits and eat up a lot of time and end up coming out in 20th place, which is where he would. He's got to hope something else happens here, possibly a wreck, salvage some points, maybe hold the car, could hold in the draft and keep himself going.
Well, hopefully he can. Of course, he was at a 6th place once, and I didn't even notice until I saw, hey, wait a minute, isn't that a red 88 up there? So, of course, I believe that was just before the stage. That was actually just at the end of the stage, too. So, of course, maybe, and hopefully, he can work his way back up as well. But, of course, good news for Victor, bad news for Justin Levine and Jason Altman. That 15 lap lead is now about to be broken, as both the 42, the 4, and the 97 are all at 15 laps led, one of which is in the lead, and that's the 42, so he will be at 16 laps led, and hopefully for him the most amount of laps led. But of course Justin Levine will be restarting right behind him. And of course, if that's not pressure enough, 6 laps to go once we hit the green.
6 laps indeed, and we'll have to see how that one does play for us. 6 laps is not a lot of time. These guys are going to get sketchy fast, and we might see another caution come out, of course, but, well, only time will tell.
Well, just before the stage end, they didn't make it until basically turn 1? Question mark. Not really sure about that, but of course.
We'll find out, I'm sure.
We'll find out if they can make it at least 1 lap. And if they can do 1 lap, they can do another 5. And then maybe they'll hopefully make it to the end under green. Because the worst thing that can possibly happen, and I'm jinxing it right now, of course. Oh boy. The worst thing that can possibly happen is a finish under caution at Superspeedway that deserves a photo finish. And of course, this is one of those races that deserves a photo finish as the lights are finally out on the pace car. And of course, coming down at a blisteringly fast pace at around 2.5 miles at Daytona 07 for round 7, so you can see the top 10. It's going to be an interesting finish.
It certainly is going to be an interesting finish. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how that one goes and plays out, but a lot of time to really see this one evolve, so lots of excitement yet to come. We're on lap number 84 here. We'll be coming on 85, so it'll be 6 laps to go in this. As we mentioned, Bartlett, Cozy Jr., front row, number 2, Levine, Berger, number 3, Scott Warren, Dan Harrington, number 4, Monster Vice, Jorgensen Jr., with PJ O'Leary and Corey Henry, row number 5 in this thing. Well, I hope you're ready for excitement, because I think we're going to get about 6 laps of excitement out of this one, Gary.
Definitely going to be 6 laps of excitement, provided we do make at least 1 lap. And then, of course, well, right now, basically, is, as I believe Evan likes to call it, the point of no return. Because once we have 5 laps to go, well, that's pretty much the race. So, of course, we're going to find out if we can get by that and finish under green. Pace car with its hard left-hand turn. Green is out. Victor's down and away. Cozy, although does get him, but doesn't have as much help as Bartlett has Levine all over his back bumper, and now has the 76 pushing him. So everyone just going to be scrambling for whatever position they can get right now, and we're side by side, 5 by 5.
We certainly are in the pipe, 5 by 5. Going to make some aliens quotes here, of course, but regardless, a bit of shuffling further back in the pack. Actually, Rod Flag kind of was all over the place, and Spencer Preet was trying to weasel his way through the field. Did not work. But up front, it's Cozy and Bartlett, Levine and Berger, and there's not a lot of track left.
Yeah, not a lot of track left at all. Of course, there's that gap, and of course, I meant to say 2 by 5, but you know,
sounded cooler to say 5 by 5, even though that would be insane if we got 5 by 5, which could happen at Talladega, to be fair.
That actually is possible on the back straightaway at the very least. Corners, don't even try it. That would end very badly. Oh, Cozy.
Yeah, you can fit 3 cars in 2 lanes.
Oh, that's true. That's Cozy. He tried to force his way in front of Dan Harrington, and he did, almost unsuccessfully. Hello, the 80 of PJ O'Leary a bit sideways coming after number 2, and everyone, again, just scrambling as we're only on 5 laps to go. Well, coming down to 4 to go this time by.
It is, and Bartlett's looking strong out front, with Levine and Berger. Cozy back in 4th place. Dan Harrington, Scott Warren, and Jorgensen trying to make a move on the outside lane, but he's, well, no, he looks quick enough, actually. Jorgensen's car doesn't look terribly bad. He's actually moving forward, so aero damage not a huge problem for him, but will he have enough time to get towards the front? On to lap 87 here. 4 to go. Oh, so little time is there left.
Hopefully you saw on that far right hand side of your screen that extremely ridiculously close, they were pretty much side by side and scraping doors was the 76 of Scott Warren and the 88 of Jorgensen. They do manage to keep it straight. Of course, Jorgensen on the bad end of this, but look at who's up in the, well, relatively pretty much the top 5, as Cozy's going to move up to protect from Dan Harrington. Dan Harrington and Scott Warren, they both managed to sneak their way into the top 10 at the stage end at lap 45. Well, let's see if they can make their way up at least 1st and 2nd come lap 90, as we only have 3 laps to go, but Corey Henry has other plans. As far as the race up front goes, we're pretty much at a 4-car tandem, almost literally, if they, well, now a 3-car tandem, so the 4, 24, and the 77 are all right up against each other, bumper against bumper. Hello, everyone's scrambling, trying to get out of the way. Cozy Jr. forced up to the high side. Corey Henry decides to go with him in the number 12. And of course, everyone still trying to figure out where to go. Levine may be looking, he's looking to the outside. Victor Bartlett moves up to protect, but that outside lane of Cozy and Henry are both charging fast.
They are, but, well, 2 cars versus a whole pack, but the 2 are doing well. Not sure if they have the momentum to get clear of the leader with only 2 of them up there, but they could do it with friends, and right now no one wants to be friends with them, so Corey Henry was looking for a low spot there, looking like he was trying to dive into a position and get some points, but Cozy wants to win this thing, but will he have a chance? Oh, move made by Levine, and Bartlett blocks him. Oh, problems! He's going to end up the caution! 7 of 7 as Victor Bartlett, under caution, is going to win this thing. Oh my days, we're going to replay what happened there for you right now as shenanigans ensued. As
that had nothing to do
that
with
was
top 2 action.
Bartlett. No, it wasn't Bartlett. No, sorry, Dan Harrington moves up and just turns the 12, who turns Warren, and everything goes south from there. But we're going to have 7 races with 7 unique winners. And unfortunately, the Rick Allen in YouTube chat actually jinxed us there by saying, could this end on the green? And he jinxed it. Commentators or viewers curse in this case. And hey, Victor Bartlett doesn't mind, and Justin Devine doesn't mind. Cozy Jr. kind of minds, but, well, that was different.
Oh my gosh, well, in his defense, I kind of did call it earlier, just before the restart. I was like, oh, hey, let's see if we can get an amazing photo finish on the green. Well, that clearly didn't happen, but here's an onboard look, of course. Oh my goodness, a little bit of, we're going to see just coming up, trying to side draft, and just moves a bit too close, and of course, unfortunate that has to happen. Of course, fortunately, though, for Dan Harrington, he's in the top 5. He's actually rounding out the top 5, which, of course, we'll go over, coming to the checkered flag slowly at the, once again, blisteringly fast pace of 80 miles per hour. Welcome to highway speeds at 2.5 mile tracks. Coming down into the tri-oval very slowly through the restart zone, which of course has no effect any longer. Levine going to congratulate the 42, and Victor Bartlett wins here at Daytona 07.
He certainly does, and well, it's 7 races with 7 different winners. And this time it was the 42. It's not a 7 related car number, but I don't think he cares right now. We're going to have a look forward to talking to Victor Bartlett after this one. We'll run through your final race results here now. Of course, Victor Bartlett with the win there. Justin Devine second place with Cozy Jr. in 3rd. Andrew Berger and Dan Harrington in your top 5.
Finishing in 6th place is going to be Mark Jorgensen Jr. Brandon Cruz Montevides finishes in 7th. PJ O'Leary finishes 8th after, thankfully, just managing to get that backup car after getting involved in an incident. Jason Altman finishes in 9th. Travis Brown finishes in the top 10.
Just missing out the top 10, P11 Rod Flag with Dan Hedrick, Andrew Schimmer, Alexander Russell, and Spencer Preet.
Paul Simpson Payne, Raymond Lees, Scott Warren, Corey Henry, and Rodney Walford, unfortunately finishing, with 19th and 20th finishing one lap down, are your top 20.
21st tonight, TJ Buck with Josh Hanna, Corey Smith, and Joseph Youngkins. Richard Rager Jr. in 25th.
Frank Basilia III finishes in 26th. Gary Champion finishes 27th. 28th is going to be Jake Champion. Ricky Wall and Chris Patton round out 29th and 30th. And rounding out your field 31st is going to be Joseph Orange. Austin Coop 32nd. 33rd, Rick Mason, who unfortunately did not make it to the race.
He did not indeed. Of course, out of those races, we only had 21 finishes really. Because Josh Hanna was 11 laps down and he was the closest to the rest of them. So, well, we have our finishing position there, and faster than normal, we have Victor Bartlett with us here in the booth. Victor, 7 races, 7th different winner this season. You're in victory lane.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been 4 years since I've been here. It's pretty exciting. You know, I want to thank Sunwest for the sponsorship. But I'm excited. I was really excited. I was shaking coming down the backstretch because I was just trying to check up the guys back there and not let them get a big run. But it was fun. It was fun tonight.
It's certainly a fantastic result. I mean, obviously, you had to really hold off a lot of fairly powerful guys in that race. Just how was it for you on track?
Tonight, the car just, the suck up with the draft and always just wasn't there. And if you notice, the inside line was working a lot better than the outside line, which is not normal for the 07 configuration. But trying to hold off those guys was pretty good. You know, a lot of blocking going on. Glad I made the move for the last caution down the backstretch to take the outside and hold the lead going into 3. So, but everybody was pretty aggressive tonight. I didn't like the single file there at times, but when they got going on the outside, you had to hold them off.
You did indeed. Who makes it work for you guys in a 42 car?
I got to thank everybody as far as my teams, but I also got to thank everybody at Sunwest Construction.
Well, there you go, Victor Bartlett winning today at Daytona 07, 7th winner in 7 different races. Well, next up, I believe we have a chance to talk to Justin Levine. I don't think we do, so we're talking to, well, Gary's going to be here with Michael Cozy Jr., who finished 3rd.
Well, Michael Cozy Jr., you did an amazing job. Even though the race did under caution, you did manage to finish. How did that race go for you tonight?
Well, it started off pretty scary. I'm not sure what was going on there at the beginning, but the 2-car managed to nearly wreck the entire field 3 times. I did it on the 3rd try, or at least took me out, and I think Jorgensen and a couple others, and then everybody else wrecked going off on the 1. That was pretty rough. I thought my night was over from there. We only made it 7 laps and I got destroyed, but I just kind of rode around. I actually got sort of towards the front there and tried to race for some stage points, but it was kind of really hard to make moves out there. The outside line it took a long time, it seems like, for the outside line to really get going, and that was really my problem there at the end. Again, was able to make some pretty fun moves all the way up to the front, and again, it's just when it came down to the late race restarts, and yeah, I just wasn't lucky enough to get down to the bottom. The outside line is just horrible on the starts. That's all it really boils down to. And I did everything I could. I side drafted. I pulled in line and tried to get people going with me, but it's just hard, man. There's not really much you can do.
Well, on the bright side, you did manage to make it into the top 3 as well. So, of course, who makes it happen for you in that number 77?
Well, I wanna give a shout out to my sponsors. I got quite a few of them. We got Kevin Blanche, Joey Moore, Nas Dude. I want to thank Timbo. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates as well. I got a lot of people to thank. I want to thank my teammates, Spencer Preet, Travis Brown, Harry Tiller didn't make it tonight. I don't even think I saw Travis the entire night. I want to thank him and then Spencer. I want to thank Indie Racing Images, my primary. IndieRacingImages.com. Go check them out. They got some great photography, some great stuff they do there. So go check them out. The rest of my sponsors: Tyler Dugan, Cameron Kane, Harry Tiller, Ellis Field, Spencer Preetz, Matthew Hibbard, Charles Hemingway, Hunter, Rick Allen, and I believe that is it.
Well, you weren't lying when you did say you had a lot of sponsors. So, of course, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish tonight.
Howdy, thanks, guys.
Well, we have no Justin Levine, so we're going to wrap things up for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here. And, well, I hope you all have fun next week with Week 13 and the build. It's going to be interesting when we get to Friday. Well, I've been Rachel Whitefield. I've been joined by Gary Weaver. As always, the lovely and talented Cisco Scaramuza in the booth, twiddling the knobs and pressing the dials. Thanks for watching LSRTV. This has been the Sunwest Construction Super Speedway Cup Series.